As I understand it, the very first thing that you shot for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Scene 1, was the motorcycle jump.
Yes.
Why?
Get it out of the way. If anything goes wrong, it'll be a very short production. And
were you worried?
Oh yeah, we're always worried. We're always cautious, but you have to focus on everything that can go right, not everything that could go wrong. So,
what kind of planning went into it?
Months of planning. We actually we built a shorter version of the ramp at a quarry in the United Kingdom. Filled it with cardboard boxes, and we had a cable system, so Tom could do the entire jump, but there was a cable that would catch him rather than have him fall into the quarry. And that was to help us line up all the cameras and figure out what technology we were going to use and how we were actually going to get the shot. All of that went out the window as soon as we got to Norway. Everything changed.
But you got to get the cameras right, because there's no value in having Tom Cruise speed down a mountainside and off of a cliff if you don't have the shot.
Correct. The challenge normally when you're shooting an action movie is you're always trying to hide the fact that it's a stuntman and not the actor. In Mission Impossible, it's the opposite. You're trying to show that it is Tom and not a stuntman. So you always have to find a way to put a camera somewhere where it'll both see him in close-up but not be in his way when he's doing the stunt.
And that actually gets to the point that the stunts are so incredible that people might not believe it's really him.
There are still people who do not believe that it's him.
You've met these people?
I meet people occasionally. I see things online where people just, they don't believe it. They don't want to believe it. One of these days, I'm going to bring one of those people to set and just have them watch it.
I've read that at the end of each Mission Impossible film, because you've done how many now? 4?
I'm in between my 3rd and 4th, yeah.
Tom has a tradition of turning to you in the final cut, final screening, and saying what?
We can do better. Yes.
Meaning what?
Meaning, and it's not just Mission Impossible, it's every movie we do. We're never satisfied. We look at what we've done, we see where the holes are. Any criticism that we might hear about the movie is something we've already said and looked at and said, how can we do better next time?
And this is a working relationship that goes back now all the way to what, 2006?
2006, yeah.
What is that relationship like?
I like to describe it as one long conversation about movies that's occasionally interrupted by production.
By actual movies?
By actual movies, yes. We just love movies, love entertaining an audience, which is really what it's about. That was our very first meeting, was talking about the kind of movies we wanted to make, why we make movies. And Tom was somebody who was very straightforward about, I make mass entertainment.
And in the relationship, when it comes to the story and the stunts,
yeah,
what comes first and who pushes whom?
There's no chicken and egg, and we're pushing each other. I think we're pushing each other, we're challenging one another. When you work with Tom, you find yourself doing things you didn't think you were capable of doing. Most days, you don't know how the day is going to end. You go in with a plan, but you don't obsess about that plan. And we both know that nobody knows everything. The more we work together, the more we'll tell each other, check your certainty. The more you feel like you know what the answer is, the more likely you are to be surprised in the editing room when you didn't have it.
With Tom Cruise as your actor,
yeah,
it feels like he could do any stunt.
Yeah.
How do you determine whether a stunt is worth it? Doable is one thing.
Yes.
Worth it is another.
You ask a very good question. The short answer is that the motto that came out of this movie was, this is a terrible idea, when do we start?
Okay.
If something seems ill-advised, there's probably something to it. And then, and you asked a very good question, which is it worth it? Any feeling in the movie, whether it's a stunt, whether it's a joke, some sight gag, we've learned to evaluate the time and effort and resources that go into it. And I'll come to Tom and say, this is how much this feeling costs. Because that's really what it's all about to us, is how it feels, how it affects you emotionally.
The audience is feeling.
Yes.
And at the end of every movie, Tom says to you, "We can do better."
Yes.
What more could you possibly do?
You will see.